To understand the traditional correspondent banking model, look at the sheer physical footprint it leaves behind. Picture tens of thousands of heavy, isolated ATM machines arranged in massive grids across the globe. Each one represents a distinct physical asset managed directly by the bank. Keeping those machines running is an ongoing battle against physical friction. Banks deploy technicians to fix jammed cash dispensers, push complex software updates to aging hardware, and orchestrate highly secure, expensive armored trucks to handle cash logistics. Managing that logistics chain requires immense capital and operational bandwidth. Instead of focusing entirely on financial services, correspondent banks get bogged down operating as massive hardware and maintenance companies. They become structurally bottlenecked by their own infrastructure. Because each individual machine is so expensive to maintain, banks are forced to limit where they put them. The math simply doesn't support placing high-overhead physical hardware in rural or underserved regions where transaction volumes are naturally lower. The massive cost of maintaining these aging networks forms a direct structural barrier, preventing banks from expanding access to the vulnerable populations that need it most. To break that bottleneck, financial institutions are moving along the ATM continuum, shifting away from owning their fleets and transitioning to ATM-as-a-Service, or ATM-as. By routing this through the unified Sigma platform, banks hand over physical and digital upkeep entirely. Outsourcing fleet management triggers an immediate drop in corporate overhead. The correspondent bank is suddenly free from armored truck schedules and hardware glitches, shedding the operational complexity that comes with running thousands of machines. The technology upgrade redefines the machine's core function. Instead of an isolated metal box holding cash, the hardware is explicitly repurposed for a decentralized network. This diagram shows how that transformation works. The platform turns traditional ATMs into edge devices. The system takes that single, isolated unit and connects it directly into a vast, decentralized blockchain mesh, placing active network nodes exactly where users are. By embracing ATM-as-a-Service, institutions take a highly expensive, passive liability and convert it into a blockchain-connected piece of community infrastructure. Deploying these new edge devices into modern, digital-first communities means leaving behind the physical constraints of the past. That starts with abandoning the legacy card slot. The new user experience is completely cardless. People interact with the machine using their mobile devices, relying entirely on QR codes and near-field communication, or NFC, to initiate transactions. Operating a decentralized edge device creates a serious regulatory hurdle. Banks still have to meet rigorous Know Your Customer, anti-money laundering, and counter-terrorism financing laws, but they need to do it without exposing sensitive user data on a public network. This flowchart illustrates the platform's solution: AI-enabled biometric zero-knowledge proofs. When a user inputs their biometric data, it passes through a cryptographic filter. The system outputs a true or false Boolean confirming identity without displaying raw data. This Boolean satisfies strict regulations and allows the transaction to proceed, keeping the user's personal data fully private and safely off the blockchain. Pairing a fast, cardless interface with zero-knowledge compliance strips away the old friction. A historically cumbersome banking chore becomes a highly secure, privacy-first digital interaction. Back in the physical world, stripping away all that corporate overhead has an immediate geographical impact. The capital saved by not running an in-house hardware fleet becomes the exact funding used to rapidly deploy these edge devices into previously unbanked areas. Getting the machines into the neighborhood is only the first step. The final layer of community integration comes from connecting these ATM edge devices directly to the local point-of-sale systems used by neighborhood merchants. Look at this cyclical loop to see how the backend functions. Because the ATM and the merchant's checkout counter are on the same network, cash-outs and digital payments are processed through the exact same shared digital ledger infrastructure. This shared ledger creates a closed-loop local circular economy. It bridges the gap between physical cash withdrawals and digital payments, allowing value to move seamlessly within the community. By eliminating internal maintenance costs, banks free up the capital needed to build a digital-first lifeline. This operational pivot drives tangible financial inclusion across the entire ecosystem.